listen to that baby. Hello everyone, it's currently raining. Typical British weather, isn't it? But yeah, it's been a while since I've done this. My last video was the Italian Grand Prix review, which happened about 3 months ago, I think, or 2 months ago. So it's been a while since I've done this, and the reason for that is I've just been busy. I was planning on doing a race review for every single race, but that hasn't happened. So yeah, a bit annoying, but yeah, just university has been keeping me real busy. Currently making a website from scratch using CSS, HTML, PHP, all that crap. And I'm also recording some commands in a logbook, and I'm also having to write an essay on what Linux is. And I have to say, the Linux essay is the most pointless, useless, boring exercise ever. And I don't want to do it, but well, I have to do it. So suck it up and just get on with it. But yeah, I just thought I'd update a few things that have happened since my last video. So I'll talk about F1 again, because that's what I do best. So Lewis Hamilton is the 6 times world champion. He was crowned last weekend in Austin for the United States Grand Prix, and yeah, what an achievement. Boy from Stevenage does it again. From the slums, as he called it. That got a bit tasty, the reaction to that comment last year on Twitter. But yeah, he's one championship behind Michael Schumacher now, and pretty sure when Schumacher retired in 2006 that everyone thought, you know, that record will never be beaten, because 7 world titles, 91 wins is so far ahead of what anyone else has ever done and unprecedented. And you know, he had such a great Ferrari team behind him. The synergy with the team was just perfect, and it worked like a well-oiled machine. But Mercedes has not only replicated that early 2000s Ferrari team, but has also done better, I'd say. They've actually done even better than that, which is amazing. Like, the whole Mercedes team, you got to give props to them. They've done a fantastic job. They've also been crowned 6 times Constructors World Champions. You know, they've won it 6 years in a row. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 and 2019. And it's been such a long time that they've been at the top. And, you know, understandably, so many people want Hamilton to stop winning and Mercedes to stop winning. But do you know what? About 3 years ago, I probably would have agreed. You know, the dominance, the winning was too much. But because Hamilton is so close now to Schumacher's records, he's this close, that I want to see history being made. So I do hope that Hamilton breaks the records, because, as I said in an earlier video, I don't like Schumacher because he's a cheat. I respect Schumacher. He's a great driver. You don't win 7 world titles if you're a bad driver. He's one of the best drivers ever. But his sportsmanship is not what it should have been. And for that reason, I don't like him that much. Hamilton has never deliberately crashed into another driver or deliberately parked it on the track to gain an advantage, you know. So for that reason, I prefer him, and I want him to beat the records. He's on 83 wins now. He's won a couple of Grand Prix since my last video. So he's only 8 wins now behind Schumacher, I believe. Or is it 9? No, it's 8, actually. He needs 8 wins to equal the record of 91, and he needs 9 wins to beat it. So, you know, he can easily win 9 races in one season if Mercedes carry on doing what they're doing. And they only need to do it for 1 more season. So I'm sure that Hamilton will be the driver with the most Grand Prix wins by the end of 2020. And I'm sure he'll equal Schumacher's World Championships record by the end of 2020. And I'm sure that he'll take Schumacher's podium record as well by the end of 2020. Because Schumacher's got 155 podiums, and Hamilton took his 150th podium as well last weekend, so another milestone for him. So whether he beats Schumacher's championships record is another story. because, well, the 2021 regulations, that's another thing I'll come on to, have been announced officially. We were all thinking, are these regulations really going to happen? Because it's been a long time since, we've been hyping up 2021 for so long now. It's been hyped up since last year. So it's been 2 years of hype over these regulations. And they just weren't happening until, well, this month. Or was it last month? No, it was late last month when they announced. On October 31st, actually, which is funny, because October 31st, as you know, is Halloween. And the Brexit was supposed to happen on Halloween, so it was meant to be a really, really shitty day. Imagine, 31st of October, Halloween, doom and gloom, scary spiders, Brexit happening. Shit day, right? No. Because we didn't get Brexit, which is great. And we got 2021 regs, which are great, because they look great. And I think they'll improve the sport by tenfold. So, yeah. So, as I said, congratulations to Lewis Hamilton. Congratulations to Mercedes. I hope they dominate for just 2 more seasons. Just 2. That's all I want. Just 2 more. And then I don't even care who wins after that. I just want to see them making history. So, yeah. So, 2021 regs. They came out recently. You got to say, the renders. Okay, the actual render quality is shit, but the car that has been rendered looks really nice. The 2021 car that's been proposed by the FIA. So the regulations are the car will have 18-inch rims. They'll have wheel covers. The aero will be simplified, especially in the barge board area. And the ground effect will become a more prominent, more effective method to produce downforce, and this is all in an effort to improve the racing. It's as simple as that. They're not after the fastest cars, they're after cars that will make racing more, easier and better for the drivers, better for the fans as well, because we want to see wheel-to-wheel racing. We want to see cars side by side squabbling for positions left, right and centre. We don't want to see people saying, I can't pass this guy because I can't follow him close enough because of the turbulent air and my tyres are being destroyed and I need DRS and I need more power, all that stuff. Hopefully that won't be an issue anymore with 2020. I mean, we won't know until, we see these cars in action, obviously. So I'm not going to immediately say, oh yeah, 2021, guaranteed improvement for the sport. But they're trying to make a step in the right direction by making these cars more standardized and easier to follow with all the changes, removing the complicated barge board winglets, making ground effect more of a thing, the 18-inch rims with the wheel covers, the fins above the wheels as well, and all that stuff which is designed to improve the racing. It's not about lap records. Kimi Raikkonen has said himself, if the cars are 10 seconds slower, then it doesn't matter. If the racing... Okay, I've said that all wrong. If the racing is better, then it doesn't matter if the cars are 10 seconds slower. And I completely agree. I don't give a fuck about lap records. They do not interest me at all. Yeah, I get it. F1 is about innovation, about the technology, about the advancements in aerodynamics and all that stuff. But at the same time, the fans want to see racing. And I think F1 should be entertainment... a balance between entertainment and innovation. I think it shouldn't be completely about one or the other. And I think the 2021 rules are innovative in their own way. The ground effect looks really cool, and the FIA has said that this is the first ever regulations that have been designed specifically to improve the racing. Like, this has never happened before. So, and we saw a CFD, I think. A CFD footage of, the predicted data of these 2021 cars, and it looks good. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be, oh my god, because as I said, we haven't seen it yet. But when we see it, I hope, because they are trying, credit to the FIA, they are really trying to improve the racing. So fair play. And another important thing is the cost cap, which they have announced, and that will be capped at 175 million, which is still a lot, to be fair, but it is progress, because for the longest time since the hybrid era, the top teams are dominating. They're the Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull, the only teams that are winning. Like, no other team can win right now, because Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull are spending so much more money than the other teams. The other teams don't have the money. that the top teams have, because, it's understandable that they operate on the lower budget because they're, smaller teams. The big budget manufacturers are obviously going to have more money. So, like, once again, great stuff from the FIA to introduce this cost cap. We've been complaining about this for a while. I've wanted the cost cap for a while because I believe it's one of the best things for the sport. I really do. And it's good to see Ferrari agreeing. I didn't think they would agree with this. They're the only team, I believe, with the veto. They're the only team that has a say in, what they want. But even they agreed. So maybe Ferrari has finally seen the light of day. And they don't, it's not just about winning at the end of the day. Yeah, of course, winning is the most important thing. Or actually, maybe not. Well, it's one of the most important things. But at the same time, an equally important thing is caring about the sport. And, I think if they declined the 2021 rules, I think that would show that, they're not interested in caring about the sport. They just want to win, which would be greedy. So I think, fair play to Ferrari for agreeing with these rules. And I think these rules are a step in the right direction. And another thing is, the only thing that I'm not happy with about these rules is the fact that the cars will get even heavier. Because this was one of the things I really wanted for the next regulation change. I wanted the cars to be light. Unfortunately, they're going to be heavier, which means the cars are going to look even more sluggish. Which is a shame, but I'm not going to complain too much. I feel like it is overall a step in the right direction, and I think they are trying hard to improve the sport. So fair play Liberty, fair play Ross Brawn, fair play to the FIA and everyone responsible for this change. The last few years of the Bernie Ecclestone era, the sport was at its lowest point. Like 2015, around then, the sport was, it looked like it was dying. I genuinely thought F1 was going to die at that point because it was boring. The social media coverage was rubbish. They didn't even have a YouTube at that time. They didn't do any sort of promoting. It was very old fart and very lifeless, really. But, Liberty Media, fair play. They're really trying to bring more fans in. But the best way to bring fans in is to make F1 free to air again. And deals like the Sky deal, which I believe will last until 2024, is bad for the sport, at least in the UK, because people don't want to, especially if you've got bad internet like me, I don't want to be going on a stream and watching a stream that buffers every 10 seconds because Sky are too greedy and don't show the sport on free-to-air TV. It's annoying. I was actually considering giving up F1 this year because of the TV coverage completely being behind a paywall for this year. But, I'm actually really excited for 2021. I just hope that Liberty finds a way to get out of this Sky deal because honestly, it's just ridiculous what Sky is doing at the moment. I understand they want to make money, but they're killing the sport in this country. We're losing fans. I saw a tweet a couple of days ago that Brazil 2008, one of the best races in F1 ever, to be fair, but it was watched by 13 million people. And that was because it was on free-to-air TV. It wasn't hidden behind a paywall. So I think that's something that the FIA need to look at, or actually not the FIA, they're not responsible, that Liberty need to look at, because they're obviously behind the media. They need to look at this so that the coverage of the sport improves. But they are getting there, and I do think Liberty has been a good addition to Formula One. But now let's go on to the races that I've missed. What have I missed? Singapore, Russia, Japan, Mexico, and USA. I think that's been all of them. So since the summer break, Ferrari has been the team to beat, you'd have to say. They've qualified on pole position at every single race except last weekend since my absence. And they've only won one of them, which says all you need to know about Ferrari. Classic, really. Since the dream team of Ferrari left in the late 2000s, they've given themselves an opportunity to do something good and they've thrown it away. And they've done that again. They should have won in Russia. They threw that away because A, the strategy was shit, and B, Vettel's car failed. They should have won arguably last weekend. at Kota. But once again, they threw that away because they fucked up the Leclerc strategy. Actually, no, it wasn't Kota. No, it was Mexico. Sorry, they should have won Mexico, my bad. But yeah, Ferrari, they should be the team with the most wins of the second half of the season, really. But track position is so important in this era of Formula One. But they're just throwing it away with their shit strategies all the time. Vettel won in Singapore, bravo to him. He did get lucky with the undercut, but fair play. First win of the season. Leclerc hasn't won a race since I last recorded a video, and that's because Ferrari has either screwed him up or screwed Vettel up, or just screwed up both of them, really. They both should have won more races. Verstappen initially was leading both Ferrari drivers, but he's kind of fallen off. Alex Albon's done well. He's finished in the top 6 in every race. Verstappen, meanwhile, has crashed at 2 of the races, I believe, and Mexico wasn't a great race for him either. Fallen off a bit. Although he did well last week in the Kota, he redeemed himself a bit there. But Verstappen looks a bit edgy recently. I don't know what it is. Since Albon became his team, I'm not suggesting that Albon is the reason why he's like this, but he has become a bit off the boil. And comments last weekend, which wouldn't help his situation, or they might, depends. But they probably won't. He accused Ferrari of cheating last weekend. He says, the reason why Ferrari didn't win that race is because they're not cheating anymore, which I found quite funny. Classic Max. He always speaks his mind. But I think there's a dangerous comment to make. Will Ferrari hire him in the future? Well, that quote will give them something to think about. Don't want to be burning bridges this early, Max. You're only 22. Save the controversial comments for later in your career. You can make them when you're a 7 times champion or something, not now, when you haven't even won a single title yet. Yeah, what else can I say? I mean, Renault were disqualified. What was it? Japan, I think. They did really well there, and then they got disqualified because apparently they had an illegal brake-by system. So, yeah, Ricciardo unlucky because he did really well and then he got disqualified. But he did well last weekend. Finished. Renault's improved actually, I think, since the summer break. Before the summer break, they were kind of looking, not that great. They would be beaten by Toro Rossos and Racing Points and all that stuff. But since the summer break, they've improved. So fair play, Renault, but still not good enough. They've got to do better. But they look like they've got 5th place locked in. McLaren has won the Formula 1.5 championship. And they've done it in style. They've demolished the rest of the midfield, you have to say. They've looked really good. So congratulations, McLaren. And another thing that's actually happened since my absence, McLaren is going back to Mercedes power in 2021. So McLaren Mercedes is a thing again in Formula 1. And I'm so happy to say that as a McLaren Mercedes fan. Can't wait for 2021 again. Not only because of regs, because of that as well. The future for Formula 1 is bright. And yeah. Don't really know what else to say. I mean, I can't review 4 races at once because so much has happened and everything is just a blur, really. Yeah, what else can I say?